She leads a lonely life. Bum, 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 bum. So I want to ask a question. I gotta ask it, you know? So a reporter went over to Billie Eilish's Eilish, whatever her name is. I really don't care if I get it right or wrong. Because I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of the ship of fools that lives in complete luxury, makes exorbitant salaries for what? Entertainment. So Billie Eilish, a reporter went to her house. Big gates, big high gates. You cannot get up into her yard. And I would never encourage anybody to bother somebody's home. Okay? But she was waxing quite confident the other night. She said, there's no such thing as illegals on stolen land. And what she failed to realize is her mansion is actually on ancestral Indian grounds. She didn't buy it from the Indians and she didn't offer to give it to them. And she's worth, I think, in the neighborhood of $70 million. And hold that thought, Bill Gates' wife divorced him, Bill Gates, a while ago, and she got possibly $76 billion. Woo, that's a lot of money. I don't know what she brought in the marriage. I don't think she brought anything, and she cleaned up real good. She's now doing a tour. Bill Gates is supposedly something NIA, not MIA, but NIA. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's in hiding or what. But Melinda Gates is now telling the story that, you know, that's one of the reasons. She doesn't mention his name, but she said the marriage was hard and that's why I left, making Epstein. So she knew about Epstein Island, but never went to the authorities about it. So couple things. I don't feel sorry for Melinda. I do not understand how these big shot people can have such immunity. And she should. She says, it's terrible what these young ladies went through. Then why didn't you turn his butt in? Why didn't you blow his cover? Oh, there's so many questions. But Melinda Gates is running around playing her little story saying, I have moved on. $76 billion? Oh my gosh. I tell you what. And this is how women rob men. This is unbelievable. How is she entitled so much money? Because he's rich. She didn't earn it. She did nothing to get $76 billion. And I find that interesting. And I'm not defending Bill Gates. I think he's a clown. But Melinda's a clown. Billie Eilish is a clown. Of course, you can't get into her estate. She's against borders. She's against walls. And the reporter showed all around her mansion, you cannot get in. It's walled with security cameras, big hedges. And I'm going to say it again. These leftist losers are hypocrites. And when she gave her speech, all these makeup glopped women with all their false eyelashes are going, I'm like, these women have nothing in their brains. She can say that. All the women are just sheeple. It's like the puppet strings are pulled. When Billie talks, oh yes, it makes me sick. I've got to talk about this. It makes me sick. Do these women think about the fact that if we are on stolen land, Billie bought a mansion on ancestral Indian ground. So she's a thief. She stole it, technically speaking. She should give it back to the natives and pay rent for the time she's lived there. And she's got horses and everything. I don't like Billie Eilish. She's a woman of attitude. You know, I'm not going to get in her music. She's not my style. But she is an entertainer. And I always have a problem with these entertainers and these people that will sit there and you know, want to make a grand moral statement on something while they're living exactly opposite of what they profess to believe. Can anybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up if the audio's working, because I don't know if the audio's working. So just doing a check here. Is this broadcasting at all? Hey, King Goldust, is the audio working? Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. So, I'm going to say something about this. I'm going to say this. You know, Melinda is classic of a lot of women in our culture. She's, you know, whined about the marriage and all that. And I understand she went through some stuff. I get all that. She got $76 billion out of the deal. And she has boldness to say no young women should go through what those young ladies went through. But you kept your mouth shut. And you knew. And I read the comments. So you knew your husband was involved in this, but you... I think she should be thrown in jail too. Don't you? You know, when I drove a school bus for 20 years, I'm considered a mandatory reporter. If I see or suspect abuse at all, I have to report it to the necessary people. And if I don't, and they knew that I knew, even though I had nothing to do with it, I'm in deep poo. But watch this. This is our two-tiered justice system. There is justice for the poor, and there's justice for the big income earners. Everybody's feeling sorry for Melinda. I don't. She got $76 billion. I don't feel sorry for her. That woman is so filthy rich, entitled. and what bothers me is she knew that her husband was involved in Epstein Island. Now, that's based on watching a YouTube video of a black guy hosting the news event, hearing her own words. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. How do you get that kind of immunity? I'm going to tell you something. If I see something that I know isn't right involving children, I'm going to report it. I don't care if it's somebody I know. If I see somebody doing something that ain't right, I'm going to do my part and notify the authorities. Especially if I'm a direct witness or hear something and I just broke wind. Wasn't that awesome? But it just amazes me that these stars and these celebs, they just get away with so much. And it's frightening. And I'm not trying to beat up on Melinda, but if you knew something was going on, why did you not speak up back then? Why didn't you turn in your husband? I mean, I'm not understanding this. I am truly not understanding this at all. And that's what happens with the lifestyles of the rich and famous. There is no justice for the sins that they do. They will never arrest Bill Gates. They'll never arrest Bill Clinton. Somebody left a comment on my channel the other day that what Bill Clinton did was between two adults. No, their ABC News said years ago they had Clinton, they had Prince, was it Harry? Was all out there. They had an open hot mic. And yeah, some wild stuff, folks. Some wild, wild stuff. So I'm making my dinner as I'm talking, and I don't want to throw stones at glass houses. We all sin. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. But for the left to scream and yell about Donald Trump, and they've been going at this for, 9 years now. 9 years. They won't stop. And what kills me is we've got some actual stuff out here, some actual dirt, and not one arrest has been made. Why is that? Money talks, BS walks. Yeah, but why would she protect him if he's involved with underage girls? And now she's coming out saying no young girl should go through that. Quit the grandstanding, Melinda. You kept your mouth shut, so I don't want to hear it. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And she should have spoke up. No woman should protect her husband that's involved in that. But I said some very pointed things the other day. That Virginia Roberts, she got a big pile of money too. But you look at the picture of her with, was that Harry? And then Ghislaine Maxwell was right there. Virginia was in the middle of that photo. And she looks quite happy. She's wearing a little skimpy top. And if you're a body language expert, I don't see any duress. I don't see that smile as forced. She looks like she's feeling pretty good. And I find it interesting. One thing I've noticed in our culture is women will be involved in something. They'll do it. They'll be enjoying it at the time. And then when some time goes by, then they want to sue, and then they want to make a big drama about it. And I've always marveled at that. I just saying, you got all these people getting on YouTube talking about body language now, involving certain behaviors. You look at that photo, I can read body language. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Mr. Hinkle. How are you? So I don't know, man. And now Alex Jones, I don't watch Benny Johnson because I just don't. But I saw the headline, Benny Johnson had something where Alex Jones is claiming that Jeffrey Epstein is alive, that he's not dead. I want to ask everybody, because I didn't really listen to Alex Jones. I've got to be careful what I say. He was conservative. Yeah, I don't like Melinda. That's what I'm thinking. Anything to save face. Now she's going to talk crap about her husband because she's got a pile of money. Or, I tell you what, like I said, if I as a school bus driver am required to be a mandatory reporter, if Melinda has knowledge her husband was doing something naughty with kids, why isn't she saying anything? Why did she not say something? Something's rotten in Denmark. But I want people's opinion on Alex Jones. Yeah, she got the bag all right. Money bag. But let's talk about Alex Jones. He's claiming that Epstein is still alive. Same thing with working for, what's OPWDD? Hello, Donita. I'm good. How are you? Freezing cold. Oh, yes. Got you, King. Yeah. That goes for senior citizens, any of that. So what I'm going to talk about is Alex Jones is claiming that Epstein is not dead, that he's still alive. What do y'all think of that? Do you think Alex Jones is out there? I never followed him. People say he's been wrongfully accused. I didn't really listen to him. I heard a couple things. Alex Jones just didn't ever grab my attention. I liked Rush Limbaugh. Dunedin had actually warmed up down in Georgia. We had rain all day, but it's not near as cold as it was the weekend. Was Alex Jones off base? Was he a radical? What was he? You know, he had a lot of what I call conspiracy theories. But I didn't pay a lot of attention. I know he constantly got attacked. But I wonder if some of that attack was kind of brought on himself. There's no way Epstein could be alive. There's no way that Epstein could be alive and that got funneled through the prison, out the prison, and he just disappeared somewhere. That's my opinion. Unless he had a major heavy makeover and slipped out of the country. Gotcha, Donito. What do you think about Melinda Gates coming out and saying that, you know, that was the reason she left Gates? She didn't say his name, but she said, if she knew about Epstein Island and thought her husband was involved in it, do you think that Melinda Gates should be held accountable for that? For not reporting that? He's not, or they covered it up. I do too, Donita. Hey, Jacob. But people are coming out and getting very loud about Billie Eilish's claim that stolen land, there's no such thing as illegals on stolen land. This is what happens to celebs. They make big money. Then they suddenly set themselves up as some intellectual experts on political and historical things when they're not. Billie Eilish is trying to seal more votes, more people on her side. The Indians aren't buying it. The group of Indians that live in California say that that is ancestral land, are telling the media, Billie hasn't talked to us at all. What do you mean shape the bread like Jesus? I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Skip. Yep, it's a chain. That's what I'm saying, Chrysler. And I said that in a short this morning. I was like, well, Billie, did you pay the Indians? Did you sign the title of your mansion and your real estate over to them? This is my argument against those no pun intended, beat on their drum and claim this is stolen land. But y'all buy houses in America. You didn't buy it from a native, an Indian anyway. So how's that work? Hey, Ricky. Billie Eilish is worth a ton of money. Can I say something? Why is it these new pop stars, which are not near as good as what we all grew up with, are worth so much damn money? Was Jeff Lynne of ELO worth $70 million? I don't know. I didn't look it up. And ELO was good. And these girls that have absolutely no knowledge of history, no conviction on biblical issues, they come up with their caca music and are making more money than any of the great bands when I was growing up. Ticket prices, yeah. Billie Eilish will never go down as the greats in music history. She never will. Now, people might say, Mike, she already has with this generation, but not across all generations. Hey, Kathleen, how are you doing? What is blind? We got a kid in here. This kid is out of here. What's all this? Bye-bye. I'm all right, thank you. Rained all day in Augusta, Georgia, but at least it's warmed up. A 90 vehicle pileup. What was it, January 31st in California? They said a fog was so thick, it cut down visibility. So why are you going 65 miles an hour on the interstate? That's not an accident. That's your dog. And we've seen this all winter already. Michigan. Come on, Michigan. You're used to snow. And I watch people in Colorado when I live here. Guess who was in the majority of the accidents in Colorado in the winter? Guess which group of people? The people that live there. The people that had SUVs and 4x4s. Not me with a rear-wheel drive truck. Because I know I can't do tricks in it. And I drive cautious. People get four-wheel drive and they get their adrenaline going when it snows. They want to prove something. They want to tear around everybody. And they'll yell and honk at people because, they won't get out of their way. And they drive too fast for the conditions. Wow, Kathleen, what state are you in? Absolutely. Led Zeppelin was better. There's a lot of betters. Ladies, I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but Katy Perry and Taylor Swift are pop star. They do not have the talent. They do not have the talent. And I know I made a bold statement about Stevie Nicks with her abortion, which I do not like. But Stevie Nicks did have some awesome music. She had an awesome voice. Her music stands head and shoulders above Swift, Eilish, and Katy Perry. Any day. I think the chat froze, but my problem is I'm 59. I see these young people with the meteoric rise with money. Hey, Mr. Russell. Yes, Derek. It bothers me because they're not, to me, talented. Yeah, she was one of the best female vocalists when I was growing up. I grew up listening to a lot of man bands. Till the 80s, you had the Bee Gees, you had ELO, you had Rod Stewart, you had the Knack, the Clash, you had Gordon Lightfoot, you had Kansas, you had 38 Special, the Scorpions, then you get up into the 80s and then you start seeing, well, you had in the 70s, you had ABBA. I thought they were awesome. ABBA had more great hits. My opinion, I'd have to do a line by line, but ABBA had more great hits than Eilish, Swift, or Katy Perry had. Pat Benatar, yep. I had her album, the one with, I don't remember the name of the album, but it's the one with Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Caveman, I don't remember. She sung Rihanna, Sarah, Gypsy. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Women, they will come and they will go. Anthony, really? Yes, Russell. And the fact is that she's so convinced of it, she stole a $3 million mansion sitting on stolen land. We need to stand up and vocalize that. Well, Billie, you made $70 million. How much of that did you give back to the Indians? And she supposedly donated $11.5 million to something and was chastising the billionaires in this country. Billie, most of the billionaires have companies that provide jobs for us blue-collar people. You're not providing employment for anybody, so shut your mouth. You're a little girl that had a meteoric rise for crappy stuff. I don't know what to say. Where did that Benatar was good. We cannot forget African-American bands and groups either. Diana Ross, the Pointer Sisters, Whitney Houston, outstanding. The SOS Band. You know, I thought I heard something about that, Chrysler. Max, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get better soon. Yep, Derek. Well, you know, really, let's be honest here. Thank you, Butterscotch. That stars of entertainment, and that's what bothers me. And you got, I'm going to say it. Nobody wants to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. Blue collar workers are the ones that have the stress. Blue collar workers are the ones with the shiny pay. Blue collar workers are what move this country on every conceivable level. And you got some little twat that can sing a couple songs going to make $70 million. Yeah, I love Billy Idol. But back to what somebody's saying about Neil Young's beliefs. Truth be known, most of the rock bands we grew up with were not Christians at all. Yeah, Terry, she was awesome. It's too bad. She ended her life with drugs and her daughter. But that's the part that we always have to realize. A lot of these people are empty inside. They get the money, they get the mansions, they get the fame, and it's not enough. And God made it that way for a reason. We cannot fill the hole within. Only He can. And we all have a God-shaped vacuum inside of us. And when you stuff that God-shaped vacuum with drugs, alcohol, fame, fortune, college degrees, material possessions, trophy wives, trophy husband, it's empty. It's all empty. And I get it. People ask me if I had $1 billion, would I buy a mansion? No, I wouldn't. I really believe I would not do that. I would buy a Deuce again because I like that. I would not have a classic car. I wouldn't buy fine antiques. I would go and meet people that are on my channel and do lives. I would have fun. And if I feel led by God to bless or do something, then I do it. I don't want a mansion. I don't want to, hey, look at, that's Mike's place. I still want a smaller house than this. I want an acre. That's it. I want a humble abode that's built solid. I want a house that I can make fairly green. You know, that very efficient. I was talking to my friend, even the new houses, furnaces and everything, they're no better than mine. They put insulation, they put the windows in, and they still cost more than me to heat their houses. It's crazy. It's lonely at the top. I like one song by this artist. She wrote the music at 18, sang the lyrics, and that was her best song ever. I don't like any of her other music. I do not like her political statements at all. But I like the one song. I cannot sing it because I'm not black. But it moves me. I keep on falling in that love with you. And that mood and that music has got soul. Powerful piece of music. I'm a connoisseur of music. And I would have stood up and that is well done. When the music can grab you and you feel that black soul, the good black soul, and I never loved someone the way I love you. Oh, She's got passion. I connect with that song. They have no friends. Oh, Lady Gaga's a trip. She ran her mouth about Trump. I'm like, shut up, Gaga. You have zero substance. And you notice something? These celebs all go run to California and all want to live in the same neighborhood. And if I had a fraction of the money they have, I wouldn't go anywhere near that. I would never join a country club. I'm not going to change my clothing. I'm going to enjoy what I want to enjoy. I'm not going to go work in a warehouse anymore. I'm not going to deal with it. But I'm going to do something productive with it. Yeah, well, their lives are built on vanity. 100%. And I get tired of Billie and others just popping off every so often and making dumb statements that are not based in fact. You want to talk about stealing the land, etc., etc. It's like, well, hold up here, babe. You made a fortune and did not work hard for it. And there are people that would get mad at me for saying that. Mike, you can't say that. She's got to go on tour and on concerts. Where? I'm gonna say something, and you're all gonna probably disagree with me, but this is why when we become a Christian, we get a different perspective, and we need to. Let's talk about a band, and let's talk about the flaws of that band. Because they were good. But one of his own songs gives testimony to what he considered priority. They say that the road is no place to raise a family. Oh, girl, you stand by me. I'm forever yours, unfaithfully. Oh, Sherry, he, didn't want to be involved with her because she was a beautiful woman. She's in that damn video. Steve Perry considered his music career and being on the road more important than a relationship with a woman. Ouch. Hey, Hammer, how are you? I have not, Terry. I'll have to, if you could leave a comment on one of my videos, putting that down so I can see that. Not on the chat, but one of my shorts, and then I'll have to write that down and I can pull it up. He was a womanizer, and let's be honest, most of them were. I mean, Marvin Gaye was great, Barry White was great, but come on. I don't know a lot about Barry White. He had an incredibly deep voice. Marvin Gaye had a lot of music. And the truth about Marvin Gaye is quite disturbing. Y'all know what happened to him, right? His dad killed him and claimed it was self-defense, and he wasn't charged. Marvin Gaye had an attitude and popped off at his dad, and, that's what happens. These people get big in stardom, and they think that they don't have to respect anybody. That's good, Hammer. I like that live, watching some of Baldo's lives when I have a moment. Dave is cool people. I feel like I've been to New Jersey watching his videos in his car. Terry, put that on one of my shorts in a comment so I can look that up, if you don't mind. He is a good man. I like and he's always stood up for me. Yeah, I like Marvin Gaye's music, but yeah, his dad popped him. And who is it? James Brown is heralded around here. He got on a high-speed chase with the cops in Augusta, and the police couldn't stand him. You know, these stars, they get so big and they just start doing dumb stuff. I mean, I remember years ago, they were circulating a petition in Beverly Hills, California, to get Justin Bieber to move back to Canada. I'm not joking around. They were sick of his little spoiled butt. Thank you, Terry. Really, Max. But you look at any of these musicians. Any of you know who Colin Hayes is? Let's see how good you guys are. Hey, 14, how are you? Very sad story about a band I really like. About how easy it is to get into trouble with copyright. Down Under. That part right there got Men at Work sued so bad. Very sad story. I watched the video and I love Down Under. I'm all right, 14. It's warmer in Augusta than last week. It was butt freezing cold. We got snow down here in the south. And Down Under was sued, and it really caused duress on the band. And something happened. You know, I think it was Colin Hayes. I can't remember who it was, but one of the band members got so depressed over the whole thing. Apparently, there's an old Australian tune that, you know, da 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 in the old gum tree, something like that. And it was obscurity. And they incorporated that in their song, and somebody, you know, the woman who made that song, long ago dead, sold the rights to that or something to a movie or somebody who was younger. And then it was passed on. I don't know all the story because I haven't watched it in a while. But he sued Men at Work saying that was a copyright infringement. You remember Napster? Anybody remember Napster and all that mess? Yeah, you got to be careful. See, it's interesting that YouTube, when we do shorts, you can go to the short and you can select music. And it will either let you do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. Some of them will not let you duplicate it at all. There's strict rights, but YouTube knows how to avoid getting themselves in trouble. Yeah, it's file sharing, but wasn't it music? But you know, I was told back in the day radio stations had to, that I don't remember how it worked. If a radio station played a group song, the radio station could get money for that. That's what I had heard growing up. Now you got to be careful because you can't just play anything. You can't even go into a nightclub and they've got a live band. If they're playing any other song and I record that and put it on YouTube, they're going to mute the video. It's strict, man. If I was making money off one of my videos that has a song in that and the company that made that music finds out, big trouble. Like say I did a short that went viral And I got millions of views, and all of a sudden I was making money off of that. And I had a 30-second piece of music in there. Whoever that producer is could come knocking on my door with an attorney. Say, hey, yeah, you got permission to use it on YouTube, but you're making a fortune on this with our music in the background? Where's our cut? Yeah, it gets ugly. I don't know of anybody that's paying people to see a short. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I find it interesting, and I am going to bring this up in light of all of Epstein Island, that men, grown men, will still pay for sex. Prostitutes, OnlyFans, I won't do it. I have a voracious sexual appetite. I don't pay for that. I don't pay for porn. I don't do it. I wouldn't pay to go to a titty bar. There's no reason for me to do that. Zero. And I'm just amazed that people will pay for sex. And Bill Gates, stuff has come out in this Epstein stuff that he contracted STDs from Russian prostitutes. And I'm not trying to be rude, but Bill Gates is not exactly GQ. Not at all. And Melinda was no find either, as far as I'm concerned. And she walked away with $76 billion. I don't even know what the worth of Bill Gates is. But Billie Eilish, whatever. I cannot believe how much money these people are worth, and their music is really, really nothing to write home about. Hey, but why? How are you? But why? Why? But why, Daddy? Is that OnlyFans, Gavin? They're paying to do things that people don't want done to them willingly. Hey, Jeb, how are you? 103 billion, and Melinda got 76 billion. Let me ask a question. How is she entitled to that? I know it was his wife, but she didn't make any of that. Not even close. Why is she entitled to so much? The marriage doesn't work out. Why does she get to cash in? And did you know there's actually studies, but a lot of women gain a lot of wealth by divorcing their husbands. Did you know that in America? A lot of women suddenly become very well off divorcing their husbands. Oh, got you, Gavin. Thank you. I'm all right, Jeb. It's good to see you. I've had some women messaging me on some of my videos, not messaging, but commenting, saying they're going to leave because I've changed. And I changed. When I started talking about the protesters, people are suddenly distancing themselves from me. Yeah, but why? I was talking to Pond the other day about that. She was saying about Elon has like 10 kids or something. Well, thank you, Jeb. And I have to realize I cannot please everybody, especially in today's climate. Gavin, where are you at? And thank you for that, Jeb. I just speak from the heart. Hey, Samuel, how are you? Kevin, I'm straight south of you. I'm in Georgia. I have a couple friends in Pennsylvania. I'm all right, Samuel. Retire after a couple of years. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Well, thank you, But Why. I appreciate that. You know what, Samuel? That's awesome. Congratulations. That's really awesome. My poopy internet. You tired of slow internet? Get poopy. It moves like diarrhea. It's very interesting watching the demographic on this channel. The majority of my regulars, the majority, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania, a few in Maine, the Carolinas. Well, no, we got one, Trela. He's from West Virginia. Indiana. Have not had anybody in here from Iowa, Minnesota, nobody from the Dakotas, nobody from Wyoming, New Mexico, some from Texas, some from Oklahoma. I think we got one or two from Colorado, nobody from Nevada. I think we got one or two from Washington, nobody from Oregon. D. Michelle's California. Nobody from Arizona, where I graduated high school. No, I take that. Well, there was one. I haven't seen her in a while. Yep, Kansas City. We got a few from Kansas City and Missouri. Atlanta, a couple in Georgia. You're from Australia, Jab. You're from down under. Look at the cute kangaroo. The other day, I grabbed a bunch of parts and took my sweatshirt jacket and pelted it up like a pouch. Somebody looked at me. I said, "I'm a kangaroo. Mind your business." And he started laughing because I didn't have a bucket to pick up the items, and I had so many. I just took them anyway. I said, "I've got a baby Joey. Am I a cross-dresser? No, I'm not. I just wear women's tops sometimes." I graduated in Prescott, Arizona. That's between Flagstaff and Phoenix. Man, Samuel, I want to see Britain get unwoke. The cops have lost their mind there. The cops have lost their mind. All that woke stuff. Oh my gosh, it's destroying places. Let all these people in to hate your culture. Tucson, I was there. Tajik, you're one of his buddies. We're not going to entertain you. You might want to go back to his channel, hang out over there. I thought UK was woke. Or am I looking at the wrong flag? Is that Australia? Oh, that's the Aussie flag. My bad. Or wait a minute. Yeah. Is that the Aussie flag? Now you got me. Yeah, New England winters have had a history, man. But while I was in Tucson, I can't remember the year. My dad and I went down there to watch a UCLA U of A game. And then we went and saw Saguaro. There's a Saguaro National Monument. Oh my gosh, that is a forest of saguaro cactuses everywhere. Oh, Femyaz isn't a her. That's a dude. That's a dude trying to be a girl, claiming to be a girl. British flag on Australian flag, part of the Commonwealth. That's right. Is Canada still technically part of the Commonwealth? Okay, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. It is a dude. He's attacked me. He's gotten on here and attacked me. No, that's a guy. Um, they throw a lot of money at him, and he's got like 58, 59,000 subs. His whole channel is based on attacking people, and I didn't even know who I was, but I was wearing stuff like this. He was starting to attack, saying, "There's no way this guy could be not gay dressing like that. No way, huh?" So, because I don't fit in your gay box, let me say something about trans. There's a difference. Welcome from Canada, Chrysler. Got you, Jeb. And thank you for that, Samuel. If you're a guy and you're trying to be a girl, you clearly are trying to attract guys who want to fantasize you look like an underage girl when you're a boy. That's Femyaz's shtick. And he came after me a few weeks ago out of the blue because in one of my videos, I said most transgenders are not attractive. They're not. That's my opinion. And he gets on the vendetta. If anybody says anything negative about transgenders, the Barney Five Police Department's cranking up the siren. Thank you, Paul. That guy is a disturbed kid who needs Jesus Christ. Living at home with mommy. That's a fact. He harassed a 14-year-old boy. That's a fact. There's YouTube videos out on his behavior and stuff. Reddit even had many comments saying Femyaz is cringe. His whole channel exists on just attacking others. He has no content. He has nothing. He claims to be the champion for the trans, and what he's doing is he's attacking and showing hatred towards anybody who disagrees with him. So he's become exactly the very thing he hates. It's funny how that happens with leftists. Well, thanks, Paul. Everybody gives me crap about it. That's right, Ralph. Hey, James. Now, when I was in Hong Kong, I saw ladyboys. Ladyboys are not trans, but they do take growth hormones or hormones, and they will grow breasts. And from the waist up, you cannot tell. When I was in Wanchai, I was walking around one night, and I was just watching prostitutes everywhere because it's legal. I met a Chinese woman that was my age. She was beautiful, very conservative. I said, "You're a prostitute?" We had a good discussion. I didn't pay her and I didn't do anything. I said, "You're a beautiful woman. You look conservative." And she goes, "Michael, I have to make money. I live in mainland China and I come down here to make money." You would never guess by looking at her she was a prostitute. I mean, that's when I wish I was rich. And I'd say, "Well, honey, why don't you do this? Go get your passport. Come with me. We'll go on a trip and I'll show you the world. You be my wife. And instead of being a prostitute, I'll take care of your needs all the way around." She was a very pretty Very nice lady. She had on a nice dress. She was not dressed provocatively at all. And she was a beautiful Chinese woman. And some people go into that as a means to make money. And some guys become ladyboys in Thailand, the Philippines, because they cannot make a living. If you want a job at McDonald's in the Philippines, you have to have a college degree. Now, that was told to me by Filipino women. Everybody's trying to get a job in the Philippines. Philippines is extremely poverty ridden. And so a lot of Filipinos know that Western men like to play with boys. So when they become of age, they'll put on the whole girl act, take the hormones, paint their nails, and they'll cruise through Cavite or Manakati or wherever their traffic areas are. Thailand, Bangkok is horrible. They had a documentary years ago that showed bald men with pot gut, white chest hair going down to Thailand to do things with extremely underage girls as young as 6. That was on 2020 or Dateline or one of those years ago. I couldn't watch the rest of it. It's disturbing. Oh, Gavin, I met a one that I thought it was a Thailand woman. Went by Bam. Started talking, drop dead beautiful. And then I saw the Adam's apple. I said, "Are you a dude?" I thought she knew. No. Low cut shirt. I said, "How do you grow these?" Hormones. They take hormones. I don't know what those hormones, I could take them and I could grow breasts at 59. It's very bizarre. I joked to my women friends, I said, sometimes I wish I had a pair of breasts. I could entertain myself. I don't mean that literally. Can you imagine? If I actually had breasts, people would think, man, that's a woman, except when he opens his mouth. Why does his voice sound like a dude? Because I'm a dude. That's right, Ralph. So many grade school teachers from where? I vote Republican ticket. Interesting, Chrysler. You're from Norway, nationalist. Okay. I didn't know that. I did a report in 6th grade on Norway and I was fascinated with fjords. Deep, deep where the ocean, is in them. They bring cruise ships up in there. Yeah, I work hard, Gavin. Hello, Joel. How are you? That's cool. But why? When I lived in Minnesota, we had a lot of Norwegian, Finland, and Sweden up there. Norway was pretty much, or excuse me, Minnesota was populated by Scandinavia. So, you know what's wild, Gavin, is the cost of living is really painful today. And I'm very angry that you see so much of the rent going up. I go back to 1989 when I moved to Duluth. I think I paid 250 for an old late 1800s eightplex. Old turn of the century. It was just like 1890s. Steam radiators, wood floors under the carpet, creaky old building that had stood the test of time. What do you mean, nationalist? No, they don't. But if you look up 804 East 3rd Street, Duluth, Minnesota, you will find an empty lot. I found that out last year. I'm like, oh my gosh. My first and favorite apartment in Duluth was my emancipation from Prescott and my parents. And I set out on my own finally. And it's gone. They bulldozed it. I remember it had a stone foundation. I remember going underneath the first floor with one of the managers. Stone foundation, what, 8 feet? I mean, that thing sat on joists. I mean, that's when they built stuff. But I think it just got to a point where it aged out, and unless they had a fire or something, I tried to look up articles. I didn't see anything. Ralph, my mother's out there somewhere. And my that's adopted sister. I'm not in touch with any of them. Nationalist heated. Why is this important to you? Can I ask? I mean, he just came out. I didn't even know who he was. He started broadcasting my lives and then picking me apart. And so, just about a month ago, I was at work. I got home and Mob Rule sent me a message saying, "Guess who's at it again?" He sent me a screenshot, and he had taken one of my lives when he was attacking me. I thought, what is this guy's problem? So when I got home, I typed his name in the title, and I thought, okay, he wants to air my video. Let's air this. And I just nailed it. Unfortunately, I am fading because I'm tired, but I like to talk about issues. I like to have my finger on the pulse. Yeah, nationalist, no offense. I don't respect him, and he's not a female. I don't do that pronoun stuff. People come on here and say, what pronouns do you go by? Why don't you just ask me my name like we used to do for centuries? It's Michael Nelson, and I approve this message. I have a feminine side to me, but I'm not a cross-dresser in the sense of cross-dressing. I'm not woke, and I'm not going to show my hot dog to look like a taco. I am going to say, and Femyaz does bear evidence of that when you are transitioning and all that, there's a mental disorder there. Really? A steamer built in 1856. Oh, I met a woman from Norway in Spokane. She was an older lady. I was walking around a downtown park in Spokane. She came up and just started talking to me. I was looking over a bridge on the Spokane River. And she had a very strong accent. I said, "Where are you from?" She goes, "Norway." And she asked if she could take my photo. She says, "I have a granddaughter and you have beautiful red hair and I want to show her you." She goes, "Have you ever been to my country?" I said, "No, I'd love to go." And I met a couple of people from Norway that were very friendly. Sweden, I heard, is very liberal. I did a report on Norway, and back when I was a kid, this was back in the 70s, Norwegians would eat 7 small meals a day, not 3 gluttonous ones like we do. Their houses up northern Norway are very brightly colored, painted. I love Norwegian houses. There's some things about Norway that I would like. But alas, I'm an American. Well, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. What is on my neck? It's a 3-pound chain. It's my necklace. I got to zero in on these pics. A steamer built in 1856. Hey, Krebs. I tell, there's an old man that used to own the company, turned it over to his son, one of the 3 owners, and he said, "You got that chain on again." I said, "It's to weight me down so I don't go too fast," and he always laughs. He looks like he could be an actor on Bonanza or The Big Valley. But we live in an interesting world, people. And thank you for that. Gavin, I appreciate that. I talk about issues. I talk about what goes on in the news. I don't know everything. But I'm getting tired of, pop stars making opinions to generate the hatred against us. Every culture in the world has been one of conquest. And I don't believe we stole the land. You know, people paint the picture that the Native Americans were just nice, sweet people. They never studied the Lakota Sioux. They never studied the Paiutes, the Cherokees, others. But the Lakota Sioux, you think they minded their own business? No, they went down and raided other tribes and killed them all. They weren't nice. And you have a lot of that going on. Never been to Europe, Ralph. Yeah, it says that. And I wear women's shirts sometimes when people quote Deuteronomy 22:5. And I just tell people I'm not under law, I'm under grace. And you got a lot of people that have a problem with that. Me doing that. But I talk very openly about the Bible on here regularly. Never was in Iceland. Iceland, I would like to see. I'd like to go to Iceland and sit in one of those thermal springs. That would be a treat. Sit down in that nice hot water with snow falling. Just sit there and chew the fat with people. That'd be awesome. But why pretty much? Hi, Shannon. How are you? Ireland, Scotland would be nice. A lot of people have a problem with the way I dress. And it's okay. People have their opinions. But I sometimes do what I do to prove a point. People in America think that wearing suits and ties and dressing for success. And I remind people often on my channel, who's the one changing our laws? Who's the one raising our taxes? Who's the one raising the price on everybody? Who's the one breaking laws and screwing the pooch? The professionals. People will look at an article of clothing. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that. Yeah, Tajik, Jesus offers salvation to the whole world. Terry, that's cool. I have one son, and that's all I'm going to say. Well, thank you for that, Gavin. That's a good way to put it. I'm definitely not fiction. And just like I said this morning, why are so many people plastic? Most people build their lives on total fiction. Nationalist, you're asking so many personal questions. Jelly Roll did well at the Grammys, really? Yeah, National, you're asking a lot of personal questions on it on YouTube. It's just not advisable. I'm honest, but I mean, I don't know you. You're asking an awful lot of very personal questions. Yeah, but why? You may be onto something. My autobiographer, shoot. I don't know if I want an autobiographer unless I get the royalties from it. Actually, the majority of the money. Oh, I'm aware of that. I think God has a sense of humor when he does that. That's right, Carol. Tajik, you're not a dude? I thought you were a dude with a name like that and the questions you were out. It didn't even dawn on me you were female. Yeah, Doss, I've been given, as some people say, I have an announcer's voice. Where are you, Doss? What state? And now it's a boxing match. I have 2 dogs and eating leftover pot pie. Shoot. Yeah, but you know what? That's hard field to get into. And there he goes, folks. Look at that. Look at that. And he scores. Sometimes good announcers at the sports are what make it. When they get all excited, they sit there and have their little conversations. That's right, Bill. He's the upcoming, he's the darling child of the sport right now. That's right. Hey, whoa, look at that. Look at that. Look at him go. Yeah, yeah. It's so funny to watch that. Hi, Tennessee. Because the questions you were asking seemed like a lot of guy questions. And then you mentioned boxing. What's the JP fight? I missed that. The name Tajik is generally male. Jake Paul's a joke. It is? That's news to me. Unless you're Tajikistan. My hair's growing back. I'm starting to get hopeful again. I'm starting to feel the beginning of my mane. Yes. Y'all hear? What's the name of the YouTuber that just ended up dead? They were talking about, I can't remember his name. John Madden. I'm not familiar with him. So you're from Tajikistan. So you're not actually Norwegian. You're ethnically Tajik. Were you born in Norway? Really? How did your ancestors move all the way up there? Adam Wu, yes. That's it, Mr. E-Rock. So you know who I'm talking about. Got you. Lost money on the Tyson fight. Tyson makes money off chickens. Got the chickens in the boxing ring, man. I'm losing it, folks. Better get my beauty sleep, right? I'm going to ask a question before I leave, though. I want you all to tell me. Yes, thank you, Mr. E-Rock. I love pigs. I'm all right, Greg. I want you guys to weigh in on Alex Jones. I never listened to him, but I had always heard he was in the controversy. And, I know I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, and you're going to have trouble. But Alex Jones seemed way out there. He's a big king of conspiracy theories. What does everybody think about Alex Jones? Is he out there? Is he off? Oh, yeah, I can't listen to Alex Jones. I mean, but he's claiming now, Benny Johnson, I don't know if he aired a clip. I didn't watch it. I just saw the little thing saying that Alex Jones is claiming that Epstein is still alive. Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got, Mr. E-Rock, that he was out there. But some people think I'm a radical because of my stance. I don't think I am. I think I'm more, this is going to shock people. I think I'm more centered. I look at people, the crap that they believe on the left, and it's like the left, for them to actually think they're even close to the truth is a joke. Tyson paid his due. I like Tyson Cornish game hands. Those are the best. He's a nutcase. Rush Limbaugh was good. I liked listening to him on the EBI network. I listened to him in Colorado. You think he's alive, Tennessee? Where do you think he is? Let's go with middle of the road radical. Hi, PB&J. Yes, Mr. E-Rock. That's the impression I got. Trying to think of that guy. What's the Mormon guy's name? He's got a show on the conservative radio here. What's his dang name? Oh, why do I forget his name? Rush was great. When I listened to him speak on issues, it was like getting your car wheels and your steering aligned. It's like, now that makes sense. Rush cleared the air with truth. He actually went over liberals. Liberals tried to listen to him and make fun of him. They ended up waking up. Rush had a good shtick there. Glenn Beck, thank you. He's on down here. What time does he come on? Oh, I can't remember what time. He's on for what, 2-3 hours? And then the guys who replace, I do not like the two guys. Dave and Buck, Clay and Buck, I forgot their names. They're not anywhere near as good. I'm sorry, the EIB network is not the same. Those two guys are not, they don't hold a candle to Rush. They just don't. We have Austin Roadshow. He's a native down here, and he's got his spot talking about local stuff. But yeah. Hey, KWR. How does a man do an interview after allegedly offing themselves? What do you mean by that, Max? I'm lost. Paul Harvey was one of the greatest ever. I remember in the 80s when he was playing on regular rock music stations. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. I miss Paul Harvey. He, to me, is a legend. He's iconic. I could never be a Paul Harvey. I wouldn't even try. But if I was going to say a role model, Paul Harvey's a damn good one to aim for. He was top of the line. Lee Hamilton, not familiar with him. Hey, Fahanda. Paul Harvey never cussed, never had controversy, never had sleaze. Paul Harvey was just flat out good all the time. Very hard to find people of that fiber, that strand today. I feel like all of our genetics are substandard compared to him. He's a man of principle, very good principle. When you listen to Paul Harvey, he's what made me believe that America had good men. When you heard his voice, it's like that's somebody I'd like to have at the Thanksgiving table. If I was to grow up around a Paul Harvey, that guy would inspire me to live better than I have. He was truly a great. All right, folks, I'm losing it. Yep, I have listened to If I Were the Devil. It's spot on. He did that in the 60s. He said it in the 60s, and it is absolute prophecy. Really, Mystery Rock. If Gavin Newsom runs for president, somebody hand me a trash can. I'm going to throw up and I'm going to mail it to him. Fahanda, I thank you for that compliment, but I would never see myself like Paul Harvey. He was a great. He was unmatched by anybody. And I don't say that the way people look at Billie Eilish and all these other stars. No, he was a man of excellence. He was a man of excellence. There was no bad in him. Carol, thanks for coming. You have a good evening. Man, when Joe Biden was in White House, I wanted to play the Merry Melody song. That would have been perfect. Dun, 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 dun. Ben Shapiro, I liked him. He has good things. The Daily Wire. I tell you, I was really disappointed with Candace anti-Semitic stance. I did not like that, and she worked for him at one time. Candace Owens, I don't like her stance. But what is going on with Erica? Erica and Candace got into it. Now they're buds. And I don't know what's going on. And I want to know something because I noticed something right away. I'm going to say something that's going to shock everybody. Well, thank you for that, Greg. I've got my flaws. Stay around, you'll see them. I don't know what Charlie saw in her. I mean, she was the apple of his eye. But I do have some questions about her sincerity. That supposedly there was something in the mix to make Turning Point her darling child. I don't know. Candace is off base. But supposedly she knew something, and how does she know? E-Rock had told me some facts that I did not know. Candace, I'm not a fan of. Erica, I'm not impressed with her. Erica's an actress. Do you mean literally, or you mean the way she's behaving? Corpse walking around. That's bad, but it's true. So you think she was acting when she eulogized Charlie? And what is a grifter? Can somebody tell me what a grifter is? Because I've heard that word and I don't know what it means. Is that the same as a poser? Candace and Charlie were very close. Yeah, she was telling him to become a Catholic. And but Candace Owens was claiming that Benjamin Netanyahu had him killed. Now that's a bunch of crap. As if Netanyahu is focused on Charlie Kirk. Please. Con artists are sweat. Okay, got you. Thank you, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Interesting, Carol. I'm sorry you're going through that. I mean, the tension of the marriage. I liked Candace years ago, PB&J, and thank you for the compliment to me. I don't listen to her anymore. When she stood against Israel, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I got rid of Mark Dice over that. Paul Joseph Watson made a derogatory comment. I'm like, you guys better watch what you're saying because God's not done with that country yet. He's not. Does not mean that I approve of everything that the Jewish people do, but they're still just as stiff necked today as they were in biblical times. But God still has a program for them. Yeah, why would you run your fingers through somebody's hair? as a married woman. I mean, if a married woman came up and ran her fingers through my hair, I'd be going, no. You know, don't get me in the middle of some drama. And I like a woman running her fingers through my hair, trust and believe. But you're on the national stage, and I got a wife, and some other woman I got a wife, don't put your fingers on me. I'm in the camera, man. No, 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 no. I guess it's better than Biden sniffing kids' hair. Biden had a girl in front of him. He had his hands right here. I mean, she was too young to have this. And I'm like, what adult holds a girl right here? Crazy. I don't get the videos of Erica next to Charlie. There's some strange stuff, man. There's no doubt about it. I think Charlie was a straight shooter. He spoke the truth. That offended Tyler Robinson because he was butthurt because he was dating a guy wanting to be a girl. Sniffing hair. I sniff hair of adult women if I'm holding them and dating them or sweet on them, but oh my gosh. And he didn't even hide it. And didn't he say he would take showers with his teen daughter or something? What the heck was that all about? Teen daughter's a little old for you and her to be in the shower, bro. Just saying. I've even heard women argue about the family bed and, oh, we all sleep together. Well, when they're developing, yeah, that's not a good idea. I'm a firm believer. Everybody needs their own bed. I don't care if she's my daughter or somebody else. I don't need a teenage girl who's growing boobs sliding into bed with me. I do not need that. No, no, no. Miss Arizona means she's fake. Who is Miss Arizona? He dated Tyler? I didn't know that. That's news to me. Oh, really? How did that come out? The daughter had a diary. And why? Yeah. Erica Kirk, Miss Arizona. You know what? To each his own. I've never looked at Erica and thought she was hubba hubba. She doesn't do anything for me at all. Never did. I'm different anyway. I like real women. And some of the women that frequent my channel, some of them, their pictures, if they're being honest with their little thumbnail, they're very pretty. Tell you what, nothing turns me on more than a woman who's a conservative and loves God and is attractive and wants me. Now that's huge. She left it behind in rehab, really. What was she in rehab for? Daddy Biden and Mama Jill were so good. And why would Jill where was Jill? Mommy, me and Dad are showering together. What the heck was going on in there? Was he soaping her down too? Thank you, Mr. Trello, and welcome from Copenhagen. That's awesome. I love people when they tell me when they're coming from afar, and that's awesome. Shoot, remember when Hunter was walking around smoking pot in the White House? That was dumb. Jill is an absolute fake. And there's stuff that came out that Jill was, I don't know if she was married or seeing somebody, and Biden just cut on in. Gotcha, Chrysler. You do have a point there. School teachers all tend to be liberal anyway. We don't hear about him. Did you notice that? We do not hear about him. Abba's here. All right, we can have a concert. Hello, Abba. Crack cocaine. Yeah, that's so stupid. Democrats always make the White House look trashy. Bill Clinton did it. Biden did it. I would have no desire to live in the White House, knowing that certain horrible presidents lived and slept in there too. No thanks. Wouldn't that be funny? Go to the art room of all the presidents and the big paintings of them, and I'm president, and they got a painting with me wearing this and this. What the heck is that? That was a president. This guy? Yeah, exactly, Chrysler. Yeah, there are some teachers that are conservative, but they, as far as the public school system goes, very rare for them to get hired in there. Chrysler, I wouldn't even go for it. Nobody vote me in. I couldn't earn millions of dollars. I can't believe how much money's wasted on campaign. I would refuse to wear suits and ties. I'm telling them this is not my style. Imagine me giving a State of the Union address. People like Putin and world leaders going, did you see the president? Why does he have a chain around his, why is he wearing that? It'd be just like being trolled in the dang chat. What is wrong with that guy? Mary Todd Lincoln. Fake it until you make it. It's funny. It's true. I see it though. When you get older, you get more wisdom. That's why you can't have a young pup and president. office. You just can't. I can't imagine being president. There's no way I could please all Americans. There's no way. All right, folks, I better sign off for the night. Dragging your chains around. Chrysler, I couldn't do it. They're too stuffy for me. Oh, gosh, Finch, I hope not. Well, Colorado has a gay governor, Paulus. Yeah, Tennessee. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to clear out, brush my teeth, and go to bed. Trump had a draining swamp. The water hasn't been maintained. It's getting mucky. Man, it smells like swamp arse. All right, folks, Chrysler, everybody, thanks for coming. Abba, and we'll see you next time. By the grace of God, be safe.